always make sure that you listen to that voice inside of you, because nobody lives your life except you. My name is Tristan, and I live with sickle cell disease type SS. At the age of 9, I actually went into the hospital suffering from a sickle cell crisis, and it was pretty routine, so we thought I was getting discharged the very same day. And then the next thing I know is I woke up 3 days later in ICU, and I didn't know what had happened. And my mom came over and she told me that, I had suffered a major stroke. It was in the right side of my brain, which of course affected the left side of my body. So, I was paralyzed on the left side of my body. After I got out of the ICU, I got back on the hospital floor for another 6 months, where I learned to rewalk, how to retalk, how to use the bathroom, how to, just do basically everything that comes natural to everyday people. As a 9-year-old child, you're just like, why? You don't really have the answers or the language or the knowledge. So you kind of have to just go with the understanding of the adults around you. And of course, doctors, they talk in the way that they talk, the medical talk. And then, you have your parents who are trying to be strong for you. When I came back into that situation as a second grader, my friends kind of stood back and just looked at me, and they didn't recognize who I was anymore. And then, people were talking about me. Kids were whispering constantly. There was always kind of this, these different jokes going on at my expense. And it got very dark and depressing for me. And then one day there was this theater company that had come to my town, and I had always wanted to do acting and, just really be on the stage. And I figured, since everybody's looking at me, I was going to give them something to look at, which was my talent. And so I auditioned for the theater company. I actually got my first role. And then seriously, it was probably 2 weeks later, I was approached from the director of the Red Cross. He was like, we think you'd be perfect as a poster child for, to help us get more blood in the area. So that's kind of what jump-started my advocacy, was finding, the Sickle Cell Council in Harrisburg, and they gave me my voice and a platform. And then from there, I was speaking to senators, I was speaking to public officials and educating them about sickle cell. And I realized that when I was under the spotlight in front of people, I was still being looked at and talked about, but I was being looked at and talked about because of the amazing work that I was doing and the amazing talent that I had, and not because of, my one side was paralyzed. And then I realized this is my purpose. To spread sickle cell awareness is really my life's calling and why I'm actually here.
Sickle Cell Speaks is sponsored by Pfizer.